fresh and elegant floral dress in front of me. A hint of melancholy in his eyes is even more adorable. But his buddies behind him advised him to give up early, because she has rejected many suitors. But the man didn't believe him. He deliberately hit the baseball toward the table next to the girl. The sudden sound attracted the girl's attention. No one had ever dared to be so rude to her in such an original way. She became interested in the boy, and that's how they went on their first date. And from then on, they soon fell in love with each other. He took Diana on adventures she'd never experienced before. They flew together in an airplane over the Grand Canyon. They drove across the African savanna together. They were soon married. It was all so smooth and cozy. But then Jack was hula hooping. Suddenly his legs gave out. He fell to the ground. A friend took him to the hospital. At the hospital, Jack could still talk. He lost all feeling in his body. The next day, Diana came to the hospital to check on him. When she saw Jack on a ventilator, she was stunned. Her husband, who had been so alive last night, today, he was very sick. She asked the doctor about his condition. He's got a few months to live at best. She couldn't accept what was happening to her. She turned her head to hide her tears. She moved Jack to a better hospital. Soon after, their baby was born. Looking at his haggard wife in her hospital bed every day, Jack was angry with Diana for the first time. But Diana never gave up. Looking at his son and wife in front of him, Jack had faith in life. Diana was always there for her husband. Jack was finally discharged from the hospital. Looking at his wife and friends, Jack felt so happy at this moment. Jack's mind had finally changed. But the next day, the dog knocked out the plug on the ventilator. Jack rushed to call out for Diana, but he couldn't make a sound. I don't know how long it took. Diana finally realized something was wrong. She plugged it in. Luckily, Jack came out of it. She put a bell next to Jack's pillow, so he could bang his head to make a sound. Under Diana's more careful care, Jack was getting better and better. On this day, I saw my son playing with his stroller. An idea came to mind. The world's first wheelchair with a ventilator. With the help of family and friends, this was Jack's first taste of fresh air. The first time he tasted the fresh air outside. Seeing the world outside was a rejuvenating experience. And when his wife pushed him to visit his fellow patients, and the patients' hopes for life were renewed. Now Jack had been at peace for 5 years, until this day. His son dug out a photo album of Diana's that he had kept for 5 years. Inside were some of their fondest memories. Diana told her son about them. Every single moment of their lives. When will we go to Africa? Her son's curious question. That left Jack speechless. Diana rushed forward to comfort Jack. So for the sake of their son's childhood, they chose to go on another adventure. Jack asked his friend to convert the passenger side into a wheelchair. And so the family embarked on a road trip. Jack was so excited. It was as if he remembered of the sweet times he and Diana had here. From then on, they traveled all over the world. Because of the rough road, the ventilator malfunctioned. Luckily, they had a manual ventilator, so they could stay put and wait for help. After all the ups and downs, Jack and Diana feel confident about their future. And at the same time, they want more people to get out of the hospital. With the investment of a wealthy businessman, the patients were getting out of the cold. Suddenly, Jack had an accident. After years of wearing a ventilator, his lungs are extremely fragile. The slightest scratch can cause them to bleed out. It was clear that Jack's time was running out. The news plunged Diana into despair. Her son took her into his arms. Looking at her strong son, Jack had a big decision to make. Jack knew that his wife had taken on too much. It was hard to accept his departure, but it would be easier for his wife. Diana came running back from her outburst. She respected Jack's choice. Diana threw her husband for the last time in her life in front of him. Friends were laughing and joking on the outside, but then they all turned around and wept. They knew it was Jack's farewell party, the night before he left. Jack's condition had worsened. Diana called Jack to say his final goodbyes. He felt so guilty about his son, but he never blamed him. Then Diana sat down, and after a deep kiss, Jack passed away peacefully in Diana's touch and Diana's memories of that beautiful evening.